We did it.
Yeah, we are here. We are here. We are ready to record. Yes, yes. What's happening, peoples?
What's happening? Hey, Doc. I feel like it's been
Hey.
a long time since I've seen you, but I guess
Uh-huh.
it hasn't been. You and I
Well,
were mostly busy in August, so we've been trading off instead of spending time together. It
that's
sucks. We need to be back together here again.
yes, it was definitely completely different. Hanging out with my family. Yeah, I'm done with them until December.
Me too. All done.
I don't want to see them until December. I'm like, can I leave and go to camp now? Because y'all getting on my nerves. I've been with y'all too much this month.
Oh, so true. So true. Well,
Super
hi and
cool.
hi, Flow Riders. I see you guys all popping
Yes.
into the chat.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to do this because we have
Let's jump
kind of
in.
a lot to talk about, and then I'm assuming that this one's going to generate questions. So a quick safety reminder: we will answer questions at the end. I am looking at the chat, so it's Katie. Katie and I are both recording. So if anything goes haywire, don't worry, the recording is solid. So that's fantastic. And yeah, if you have questions, drop them in, and make sure you follow the Paul rules because he's feisty. He might get mad at you. Throw your
Nobody
cute
put Paul in a corner.
throw your cue corners. Throw your cue colons. All right, there we go. We got it. We got it.
We
Completely
did it.
pulled out of my head.
We did it. And if you hear any weird background sounds, it's my stomach grumbling because I forgot breakfast. So we're done here in an hour, so I can run out and get some food. No, just kidding.
And you were going to
Just
hear
kidding.
actually
Yeah.
the horn just went off, right?
Yeah, the horn went off. Yep.
All right, good. So then we're square. All right, gang. Let's
All right.
get ready to flow it up. Let's count it down. In 5, 4. Aloha, Flow Riders, and welcome to another edition of The Flow. It is going to be a good one today. I am Doc Rock. How are you doing? What is your name?
How are you doing? What is your name? Hi, everyone. I'm Katie. I'm the organized one. I'm officially the host. This is my co-host, Doc.
I'm telling you, my brain is like completely broken today. Anyway, we are going to talk today about doing some AI, so I guess production for your podcast. There's so many things out there, and we recently did a challenge, and I think Capsho has been for me this wow. It's still I'm still in the strategy. I'm still doing the whole Katie Brinkley 4-post strategy move, whatever. So it has been fantastic to me. So yeah, we wanted to talk about that and then give you some other ideas on what you can do to AI your production. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
That's going to work
exactly.
today.
And if you're brand new, either brand new to Ecamm or brand new to us, and you're like, what is Capsho? CAPSHO. Paul will drop a link into the comment. We also have links in the show notes in the description. But Capsho is, as Doc just said, an AI tool, and it helps both on the idea generating, like SEO copy side of things, as well as the promotional, best in class kind of getting it out there across the interwebs side. So it really has two different sides to it, and you can take a little bit from column A, take a little bit from column B. You can do just column A and only column B. So there's a lot of different options in it. So I think it's great that we're doing this and talking through some of the details on what we do. May not be the same as what you want to do, but lots of opportunities there to be able to get your content out there and get your content out in the best possible way.
Yeah, it's been a game changer. So a couple of the things that when people say, well, what should we be doing to use how would you best use AI for a podcast? And you nailed a couple off the top of the head. Idea generation is probably the best one. Hands down is probably the best one. One that I've been doing recently is taking transcripts and having the transcripts turn into ways to better hone the brand voice for the AI. And I, strangely enough, kind of got this idea from Capsho because what happens like in a podcast like ours, where we have two completely different voices, but yet we have an overarching brand voice,
Yep.
right? I'm able to take a show where I can pull out the transcript of what I'm saying and it knows the transcript of what you're saying, and then say, okay, although the two hosts have different personalities, there's an overarching style, tone, and brand voice for the flow as
For
the
the show.
flow.
Exactly.
When you
Yep.
generate information, I need you to generate information using the brand voice, not specifically Doc, not specifically Katie. And it knows how to do that. That is
Yeah.
phenomenal. And Capsho was the first thing that I used that gave me that idea that that could actually happen. Because I've done it before for my personal content. Like I've really honed my voice with ChatGPT. I very rarely get hallucinations. Yeah, when it makes up stuff, that word, hallucinations. Yeah,
Yeah.
hallucinations. That's not even a thing.
No.
Yeah, I rarely, if ever, get hallucinations anymore, and that's because if you happen, I think this is only for pro. I'm not sure. I haven't used regular ChatGPT in over a year, so most of the things I'm speaking of from the pro standpoint. In order to see if it works without pro, basically means you pay them like $20 a month. You have to just check. Honestly, I can't tell you anymore. It's been way too long. It's
Yeah.
that valuable to me. It's worth the $20, but it has a feature that is known as memory. Okay. So you just mentioned pulling itineraries for your trips, right? Right before
Mm-hmm.
in the pre-show.
Mm-hmm.
You can say, hey, my next trip is going to be going to the Maldives.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I mention my trip or talk about that, this is what I'm talking about. And it'll go memory updated. And so when you say, hey, I'm looking for some good places to get seafood on my trip, you don't even have to say in Maldives. You just say on my trip and it knows. So it will give you the answers specifically to that.
Yeah.
At some point in time, if you wanted to forget that because something changes, because we're human and life changes, you can just tell it to update the memory, or you can go in there and manually adjust the memory. So mine does not give me game changer and uh, unleash and all the other
Unleashed. Yeah.
hyperbolics
Yeah.
because I told it never speak to me in hyperbolics. I
Yeah.
will cut you, and it doesn't do it anymore. So yeah, it's really interesting the type of stuff that you can do nowadays. So yeah, what do you have
Yeah.
anything on Capsho that just stands out to you specifically before we kind of like dive in and show them some of the stuff that they can do?
Yeah, so I guess I wanted to just talk big picture because I know that this is a tool kind of similar to Ecamm actually, where it does a lot of things. And I think when you're new to it or you kind of just hear about it in passing, or even if you're like just, playing around with it in those kind of initial phases, you might miss some of the opportunities that exist for podcasters. So here, allow me to walk through some of the different options that are available to you using a tool like Capsho. So again, I split them up into sort of like the planning column A, planning and like ideation side of things column, and then column B, which is all that post-production stuff. That's that Katie Brinkley's 4-post strategy that Doc was talking about. That's all on the promotional side. So if we think about it from a planning perspective, so whether or not you do your show like we're doing here, or or you batch record, or you have a recording process that is not live streamed, doesn't matter. You can still use this tool to help you make sure that you get the best possible titles and descriptions, and that the content that you're sharing and creating is actually matching what you're saying. So you could do this in a couple different ways. The first is once you're done recording your video or your audio, you drop that into Capsho. There's going to be a bunch of different prompts. We'll show you in a little bit here how it works, but there's going to be a bunch of different prompts. It's going to ask you to enter all that information. Like Doc was saying earlier, you're going to want to put in like your host or your co-hosts, like the personas that you've built out in Capsho so that it's remembering what voice to be asking this in. But so it'll take your entire episode and it will tell you what the episode is about, and not just what the episode is about, but what are the actual, like what the episode is about, and ranked in what are the most engaging, interesting parts of that episode that you should be thinking about, doubling down on, promoting, etc. right? And so then you can take that information and you could expand on the episode with it. You could focus that on your promotional side. Or if you, instead of uploading the episode itself, you just talk in as do a video brain dump where you say, hey, Doc and I are going to do this episode upcoming on Tuesday, September 3rd. We're going to be talking all about Capsho and AI, and we want to highlight XYZ different things. And you just record like a raw video file where you talk through what you want the episode to be about, upload that into Capsho, and Capsho will say, hey, these are the points that actually are most, enticing, interesting, etc. And here's what you should call that episode. Here's what you should put as the description, etc. So if you can, it's great if you can upload your episode and fit that into your workflow. It's actually even better if you can record your episode ideas as part of your planning process, because then it's going to give you even better content. And you might find in talking through that what AI thinks is the most valuable part of that content isn't what you were actually going to talk about. So that, I think, is the big learning that on the planning side that I don't think people see as immediately in Capsho, but has become huge for us at Ecamm, for podcasts, for any kind of video content, is really just kind of helping it on the planning and ideas standpoint, because you have probably an outline, hopefully, for each episode that you're working on, but talking it through is helpful for you. It's helpful to practice, and it also helps make the best possible SEO rating. So I would say that in the column A side, it's hugely helpful from that perspective. And again, you could use a different tool if you want to, but this one does a really nice job of it as far as kind of the A to Z.
Yeah, what's funny is you mentioned something that I have been doing for quite a long time using various tools. But it's something about the way Capsho is formulated, because it is expecting you to do something extremely content creator oriented. So the underlying technology has been programmed specifically for podcasters, YouTubers, people that are facilitating sort of webinars and things like that. So
Yep.
I for a long time have been using something called Audio Pen, which basically allows you to just do a verbal brain dump, and it will formulate that back into something that makes sense.
Yep.
So the idea of recording an audio and telling your AI program to pull something intelligent out of out of something audio based is actually very simple. So
Yep.
you can just use the now strangely enough, I have of course, I have iOS 18 on here. So even with my iPhone now, I can record a voice recorder and just spew, just spew the thoughts that are in my head. It doesn't matter if you make a mistake. You're not recording a speech. You're giving a free flowing idea session as
Yep.
if you were having an idea session with your friend. Now, guess, check this out. You can actually go into Ecamm, log up the Zoom, call your friend, have an idea session with your friend, and take that MP3 from that and throw that at Capsho or throw that at ChatGPT. ChatGPT is a little bit, it's a little weird with MP3 still. So it's better if you transcribe it first, which actually Zoom does for you automatically, by the way. But you take the transcript and you throw that and say, pull me some ideas out of this, right? So you can take that MP3 though, feed it to Capsho, and Capsho would definitely be able to do something. So even if you are still having a hard time ideating to yourself, which you really need to get over, you could just call a friend and record that phone call and then use that as the MP3 for Capsho to pull out ideas from. So just don't feel verklempt in any way, shape, or form, because there is a solution for every one of your weird idiosyncratic behaviors.
Yeah. And again, there's two sides to this coin, and either really works. So, you could do, I think the slightly better option is what we just said, to do it as kind of a, you're not going to keep that file ideation, brain dump, run of stream of consciousness kind of video or audio content. But if that's not you, or you're not quite in that space yet, or you just haven't built that into your workflow yet from a time perspective, whatever, fine. Take the final, raw pre-edited video file or audio file for your show and drop that in, because you are going to find almost immediately that what Capsho is showing you as like the most engaging bits of content, the most engaging themes, what they recommend as a title and description is going to be really different than what you thought, because it's smarter than you and it's looking across at what has the highest potential to get you that reach. And the difference is staggering. Doc did a great example of this during that challenge, where he went live with a video training content. He actually put like no title or description in, which totally freaked out Paul. But he put no title or very little, like a template kind of simple description we're going to change later, and then drop that file into Capsho, and the recommendation for title and description, and like again what those key points are. It was awesome. So I think even getting in the habit that way, even if it means you have to go back and update your title and description or your show notes, or whatever it is on whatever platform, is still better than not doing any of that at all. Because again, like, you may think that the most impactful part of your episode is this thing, and in reality it's actually this other side. And again, it might give you ideas for further episodes or deeper dives or any of that in between. So worth doing, and like super easy. And again, the favorite part, and we'll show you this, is that like Capsho will automatically, like, it forces you to choose your persona and to kind of build out and give you that information. And then once that video is processing, like, it will pop up and say, hey, seems to me that you were talking about these 6 things in this video, and like we'll give you kind of the topics of the video, and it ranks them. So like some are green, some are yellow, some are red, like in how engaging, how popular they are. And it forces you to say, like, which of these do you think, human, is the most, like, is the one that you were trying to convey, is the one that you want to focus this video on. And then it uses your answer there to populate the promotional copy and the social posts later. So you could look through and say, oh, well, yeah, Doc and I were talking about AI in this episode, but actually, like, you're right, it was this, smaller kind of part of AI that we really dived into. Let's do that as a topic. And then that's what all of the promotional posts and the content will be about. So I think it's nice that it does go above and beyond ChatGPT, which, expects you to be a little bit more proficient in AI, whereas this one really says, like, hey, you need to follow these steps, you need to make these updates, you need to make these decisions so that you get the best possible content, which I think is important for all of us.
Here, I want to, Luis, if you could possibly bring up the screen share real quick. I want to show an idea of what I'm talking about, and I want to clarify something real quick. So again,
Yeah.
whenever I'm speaking about ChatGPT, I've only used Pro for almost 2 years now, right? Like, when it first came Pro, I went Pro, and so I really don't have any idea what the regular one does. I'm not even going to pretend. That being said, even with Pro, ChatGPT doesn't quite understand MP3s directly yet. They're still a little weird. So what I do is transcribe those first. There's 75 ways to get a transcript. The easiest to me is Authonic does it, but I also have a program on my computer called Mac Whisper, which I think I talked about somewhere on one of my shows. I talked about Mac Whisper. And again, even that program is super cheap. I think it's like free to use if you want to support the developer, because it's just a single person developer. It was like $20, whatever. Mac Whisper was totally worth it. But there's 1,000 ways to get a transcript. I'm going to show you the easiest way right now. So if you notice here on the latest episode of The Flow, there'll be a new one today, by the way. But all I did is, once it made the MP3 file, it automatically generated the transcript, and it gave it to me in SRT format. It gave it to me in a VTT format, which is the YouTube way. And then it also even gave me an HTML version. So I could take, this is already transcribed, but I could just pull the MP3 from here and good to go. If you're using ChatGPT or one of the other services that does not fully understand MP3s too well, you would probably use the SRT or the VTT, and it would be able to figure this out. So in Claude, recently, I'll show you one I did a while ago. I was talking about how I'm crafting a brand voice. I've done this in ChatGPT using the GPT format, which allows you to build an app that basically you don't have to tell it the same thing over and over again. I wanted to see using the new Claude projects. So if I scroll up here a little bit earlier, here are the transcripts that I gave it. I say, here's 3 episodes, right? And I even tested it using the text file. This one was an SRT. This one was a VTT. I changed them to text because it didn't understand what to do with SRT or VTT. This is a weird thing about computer formats. You can change the last 3 letters and it just is what it is. So theoretically, SRT is a text file and theoretically VTT is a text file. But for YouTube's purposes and for things that use SRT, it's looking for the SRT because it just tells it what to do as opposed to when it sees TXT. Claude, not that smart, so I had to just rename it to TXT. And then fine. So I gave it those, and then I even gave it the HTML version. And I said, using these transcripts where Mary Lou is speaker 1, I'm speaker 0, and I am speaker 1, generate this brand voice, and it was able to generate the brand voice. So to the question that came up in the chat about using ChatGPT for MP3 analysis, it's a little weird. Just do the transcript, and then it will understand exactly what to do. So to Katie's example of what I did, this was the episode. I recorded an Ecamm walkthrough to people that were brand new to Ecamm during the Ecamm challenge. And then I sent it the file. The first thing it did was generated a title and description because it's assuming that this is a podcast. So the title it came up with is Elevate Your Content Game, Ecamm Tricks and Techniques Revealed. Of course, I would never use that title. It's a little too wishy-washy for me, but you could just go in here and just type this, right? Let's see. For us, we prefer level up. This is more of our thing, what we say. Level up your content game, and then I would spell Ecamm correctly because it's just that simple. And then I would use ampersand because it's less formal.
Get started.
Yeah, I was gonna do that. There you go. Bam. So now we're good to go. I've already edited that. So different from many of the other ones, when you get your output, you have to put it into some editor and then edit. This actually, I can edit here directly into the program. So
and it learns from this too. So yeah, it's
right.
good to drop.
So how this came from the video? It says, imagine being whisked away into a world of video creation becomes effortless. Right in here, it starts to say some things that I said. But I get into the magic doesn't stop here. Ecamm understands the importance of efficiency, which is why there's a wealth of features designed to supercharge your productivity. I think when people ask me all the time, what makes us stand apart from some of the other apps that do similar to what we do, we've actually added some things for you to take the next steps. Most of the other apps don't have that. That's something that's unique to Ecamm. So it even understood that from the demonstration that I did. And so it's able to give me this, but this is just generic title and description if I were posting this as a podcast. So if I step back and then I look in here and it says, well, what's a good YouTube title and description? I generated 2, right? So if I click this, here's a similar thing. And then it even gives what your key takeaways are going to be, streamline your workflow, craft visually stunning scenes, professional grade graphics, integrate your screen share. Of course, we always teach that in a demo. Leverage advanced features like countdown timers and sound effects, which we talk about in the demo, and optimize your live stream for maximum engagement and interaction. So that's one of the key features of Ecamm is by using the chat and things like that, you're going to level up. People who have just regular streaming software that doesn't allow them to put, their questions in that on the screen, it's just not the same, right? So anybody who's using Ecamm, you guys already know this, but it was able to take that from what I did, and I used this as a YouTube description. You could even go in, and I had it make an additional, right? And then so it's very similar, slightly worded differently. But let me show you what it would be like to generate a brand new asset. So I could just click here and say, here's a brand new asset. From here, ooh, there's a lead magnet for a checklist. That's new. Sorry, squirrel. Let's say I wanted to create some social media posts for Instagram, and then I want to create some social media posts for Facebook. All I have to do is click that because the basic information of what this post is about has already been given. And what makes this stand apart, and I wish it would let you click here to see what it was when we did this, but it posits some questions about what is the call to action that you're looking to get out of this, and what is the context of that call to action. It will even tell you based off of your transcript, here are several topics. This topic gets a 61 score in SEO. So if you use this topic, it's probably your best look, even though that might not have been what you thought you were talking about. Your transcript begs to differ because we've all done that. We've all started a video and then started changing the conversation part of the way through. So in the middle of changing that part of the way through, it would go ahead and give you that. So let's give you guys a quick look at what happened with the Facebook post as I put this in here. So there is something known as an awareness post. There is something known as a tip post, and there's something known as a community post. And that is part of the 4-post strategy when it comes to posting for your social media. The last one being an action post. So in this particular strategy, after you recorded your podcast, you're not just posting, hey, come look at my podcast. That doesn't tend to work, right? So in the fact that the way that happens and the way that if you just put, hey, come and look at this post, let me make this make English sense. That doesn't tend to work, especially on a different platform where you're sending them, say, back to YouTube, because the person came to Facebook to do Facebook things. So if you tell them something that's just about picking up off of Facebook and going where you want them to go, that doesn't always translate. And this is where most people struggle. Most people struggle by going to Facebook or IG and trying to tell people to leave Facebook or IG to go to YouTube. And the person's like, no, fam, I came here. My intention today on Facebook was to stalk my ex or catch up with that friend in high school, the friend of me. I want to see that they're failing worse than I type of situation. So you're not ready to leave yet. So what this thing does is allows you to have them interact with you on the platform that they're on versus leave. Okay. So let me take a look at this Facebook awareness post. If I click here, it says, these are some of the awareness things that you could generate. Streamline your live stream workflow. Actually limits creativity and spontaneity. Do you agree or disagree? So you've seen these things on Facebook, right? Where you ask a question that you don't really need to know the answer to, but you know you're going to start a conversation or a fight or a kerfuffle, right? That's what this kind of post is. Taking screenshots during the live stream for thumbnails is the waste of time. Pre-made graphics is always better. I would actually post that because I think the people that do the screen captures just out of that's just lazy. As a thumbnail god, that's lazy. Don't do that. But you know, if that's what you're gonna do, knock yourself out. It's my opinion. That's lazy. But you see, this is a good post for me because it will trigger some feels in the conversation. All right. So I'm gonna copy that because I might use that today. All right. Countdown timers and screens and live streams are unnecessary. Distract from the content. Boom. That's another one I would absolutely use because you guys know how I feel about countdown timers. Burnt-in tools and streaming software encourages laziness and prevent creators from developing essential technical skills. You know, this thing must have read my transcript, right? There's certain things. What this is talking about, they just formulated the question wrong. I would fix this. But this was a point where I was talking about doing the unnecessary pop-ups from Stream Elements or Streamlabs can be distracting depending on the type of content. It was designed for gamers. Totally makes sense in that format. But when you're talking about something serious, maybe you're doing brief counseling, you don't want the Mikey just subscribe popping up in the middle of your feed. So there's that. And then a more streamlined workflow becomes the less authentic and relatable your content appears to viewers. This is also miscalculation based off of when your video looks too pure on Instagram, people think that it's an ad. So you would just readjust that, but you can you would see how to adjust it. Anyway, that's what what those strategies look like. And then here is one that's about doing a tip post. So if we click that, it will go in and it gives you basically some tips for using Ecamm. You showing the background option, if you want your elements to appear across all of the screens, but this is a whole post. You just basically edit this, pick it up, post it, and then you're just adding extra engagement around that video, of course, which will get people to want to get nosy and they will want to go see the real video. But standing on the corner and saying, hey, Facebook, stop what you're doing. It's important to me that you get up and walk over to my platform and watch what I want you to see. It's not the same vibe. You're not helping them where they stand, so to speak, right? Community posts, it doesn't write this one for you, but it gives you some ideas, which I think is very cool. It's allowing you to still be you and your voice. It's allowing you to speak so that you generate the thing, because it won't understand your community. It won't know who Paul and Gretchen and Janet and Ernesto, like Roy, it won't know who these people are. So you want to use it in a voice that your community understands, but here's some ideas of things that you can post for your community. So that's that one. And then the last one would be the action post, right? And so it tells you to create some content with Ecamm Live doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, it's downright fun. Just wrapped up a live demo. So now you're giving them that call to action, right? Now you're telling them why it's worth their time to go see this post. And in this particular case, a YouTube video, why it's worth their time to go see this and interact with it and engage with it and learn something. It's a little bit different from new post. I just posted a video on YouTube. Go watch it now. Like that old technique just doesn't really flow. And this has been proven strategy from Katie Brinkley, and she has lots of content that you can see, has a whole book about it. But ever since I have been using this, I will tell you, it's really good. So, of course, some people are going to ask, can you do most of this in ChatGPT? Probably. You're going to have to generate those prompts, though. And if you don't have those skills and capabilities, it's not going to be the same. It's not. Like, to come up with those is not going to be the same. And the other, what did I want to show you while I'm here? I did want to say, so ChatGPT, you can do some things like that. And like I was saying to Matt, you can click on here, you can upload a transcript from your computer and have it generate. But even once I were to grab the transcript, if I see one, here's one right here. And then let me grab, can I do two? Yeah, I'll grab these three. So I'll grab those and then say open. It's going to upload those files. Okay, so now the file is uploaded. What's the prompt? I know the prompt. I'm pretty sick with prompts, but what's the prompt if you don't know how to prompt? You see what I mean? So this is where the tools that have already figured this stuff out is kind of handy. You see what I'm saying? Like, you wouldn't necessarily know what prompts to have it do in order to pull this out, right? So you could probably try something like generate me a FAQ based off of these transcripts. And again, if you have a free program, you won't be able to put up as many files, right? Like if you have a pro program, you have more space of things that you can upload. But if you have the standard one, again, it's not going to have the same level of output because this prompt isn't really tweaked. The other thing is my ChatGPT is heavily dialed in with my persona. So yeah, it doesn't even know how to read this web VTT files, right? So yeah, it's not even able to do it. But again, all I really need to do is change that VTT to a TXT file and it would work. But it's just to give you some ideas of what it could basically pull out, you know. Yeah. So to me, Capsho is just a better look. It's a lot simpler. It will give you all the things you need, and it's a good way for you to go in and do some marketing based off of that. Some other honorable mentions inside this, of course, would be Claude. When it comes to just raw generation, Claude actually does a better job, and they both have pretty decent free programs, but of course the paid programs are better. Gemini, which I completely forgot to bring up, Gemini also is pretty rad. Gemini is built off of Google, so if you need to pull information from the web, Gemini is pretty much the best because it's the web, it's Google. And again, I have Gemini Advanced because I have Google One, so I really don't remember what the free ones do. I'm not saying that to be weird. I'm all in on AI. So I have pro versions of all of the above, including Pro Perplexity, which I'll show you an example of Perplexity. Like I posited the question, what's the best dynamic microphone under $500? This one you can toggle Pro on and off. So I'm going to copy this real quick so I can show you the difference. And I'll just hit that and I'll let that run. And then I'll do another Perplexity. And then this time I'll flick the Pro on and you'll get an example of like what are the primary differences. I'll put these two tabs next to each other. So it'll go ahead and tells you what to look for: frequency response, polar pattern, durability, low noise handling. That's good for most of us. Presence boost, so your voice sounds like this. And ability to handle sound pressure levels without distorting. These are all good. And it goes through, of course, it gives you the God, the SM58, but it goes down and it shows you some of the other things that are available. There's the pod mic, which we're all familiar with. This I actually have on the floor next to my leg. It's there. And if I go over to the Pro version, it formulates it a little bit different. One thing that's cool about Perplexity is it gives you the sources as to where it pulled all this stuff from. So when it comes to research for doing your page, it will do a good job of giving you these researches. And you can convert this into sort of a printed document, which you can use as a backfill to your show. So that's another tool that's kind of sort of handy in there. But honestly, Capsho is the move. Capsho is absolutely the move. All right, let's go back to regular screen there, Luis. So what I want to do is just tell you first and foremost is just when it comes to marketing your show, or well, to say pre-production in general, when it comes to pre-production in general, post-production in general, the idea is not to rely. Of course, we all heard this before. It just goes worth reiterating. You don't want to rely 100% on the AI, but it can help you go a long way. Again, idea generation, perfect. Planning phase, perfect. Taking all of your nebulous thoughts and getting them close enough that you can pull something good out of it, really, really shines there. So that's why I've been using the audio pen forever. But now I have Plod, which is a recording device that does this. It's going to be built into iPhone probably early October. I have the iOS 18 here. You can legit just fire up Apple Notes and have a recorded conversation and have it be able to pull something out of it. It's kind of sort of incredible what it can do. So using the, again, audio to transcript to have your LLM work on that for you, or some of the programs will actually read straight up the MP3. ChatGPT is just not very good at MP3s. So to me, all of these guys are really, really good. They're all sample to use. Most of you would do better at recording an audio or video file to yourself. And I tell you all the time, in Flow, you've always heard me say, if you want to get good on camera, just get good to talking to your camera. So taking this and leaning it up against the wall and doing a quick ideation and then having it take that ideation and turn it into something that you can use, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. You would be absolutely surprised at what it's able to pull out. I kind of almost want to show you, but it might break something, but let's just try anyway. But I'm going to give Luis a clean out, and then I will do the demo. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, Luis will be able to cut it off for the podcast. How about that? All right. So here's what we're going to do. Just a quick reminder that this is how to use AI program like Capsho to enhance your podcast for pre-production, for post-production, for idea generation, and for marketing your podcast. It can generate Facebook posts, Instagram posts, blog posts, and now something I just noticed it can do, it can generate newsletters. So these are all the myriad things you can do with Capsho. To find out more, check the description below. We will put the link to Capsho right there at the bottom. And if you are an Ecamm subscriber, we have some secret squirrel discounts to Capsho. So make sure you reach out to us with that, and we'll see if we can get you hooked up. Just send it to flow@ecamm.com. That's FLOW@ecamm.com, and we should get you started there. Now, if you want to leave some feedback about this particular episode, make sure you go over and you check out flow.ecamm.com. That's FLOW.ECAMM.com. And then that's where you would get to our site. It will allow you to subscribe, please. It will allow you to leave us feedback, please. And you can even ask questions. We have a voicemail box where you can leave us questions there, and that's at flow.ecamm.com. This has been brought to you by Captivate. Captivate FM is where we host this show. It is the best host in the game when it comes to growing a podcast. It starts with the growth potential in mind. So absolutely go over to Captivate FM. Again, link will be down in the description. And that has been another episode of The Flow. We hope to see you here again next Tuesday for another sick recording of The Flow. And Flow Riders out. Chee-hoo! Okay, watch. I'm going to do it real quick just for you guys. I'm going to show you. Let's use the voice recorder. Actually, I'll use video because it's faster for me. My brain just works in video. Camera's there. I'm gonna just turn it on. I'm gonna flip it to my face, and then let's do this. I am working on generating a podcast episode where I talk to people about, in the wide arching range of digital tools out there, digital note taking, digital notes apps, things of that nature. I have recently dove full-fledged back into analog. And what I mean by that is writing out all of my ideas with pen and paper into a notebook first, because I feel that the analog method allows me not to sort of self-edit. I feel that when using the computer, us humans tend to want it to look a certain way. So we'll start stylizing or editing for content or fixing mistakes or trying to avoid mistakes. And that sort of blocks the overall spit flow of just getting your idea from the brain out onto paper. Whereas if you have paper, you just let it out, and you can, if you got to scratch something, you can scratch it, whatever. But what's really cool about ideating on paper first, it also allows you to then take a picture of it if your handwriting is decent with your phone, which can use optical character recognition / OCR to put it back into a readable digital format, which makes it super searchable. And if you're an iPhone user, I'm assuming Android does the same thing. Photos with handwriting on it are actually searchable by the device anyway. So it's a good way to just get your notes into your sort of computer or your digital working system just by taking a picture of your notes. So I'm recently on this trend. I'm trying to get creators to know that maybe sometimes the fastest way to go from idea to execution is to actually start with analog. And compliments of my friend Aubrey, I've gone down this crazy fountain pen train with good paper because I discovered writing on crappy paper just doesn't make me happy. So it doesn't feel good. I even, yesterday, strangely enough, my niece says, Uncle, can you take me to the store? Why? Because she wanted to get a new notebook. Why? Because the notebook she wrote on was a free notebook that they gave her at school, and the paper is trash. And so the ink bleeds through to the other side. And so, you know what I mean? So, like, make sure you get good quality paper, but it's very easy to grab a notebook, go run and hide in a corner somewhere quiet and ideate. And sometimes that's a little bit faster than doing the other way. So with this in mind, I am looking for a good way to generate topics around this for a podcast and for a YouTube video about sometimes the best way to rock your digital system is to go back and restart with analog, pen and paper, pencil and paper. So I'm looking for some cool ideas on that. Let's see what we can do to make this happen. All right, so I recorded that video. I'm going to airdrop it to the computer real fast. Bing, bing, bing. But it's just that simple. I'm not trying to be perfect. If I make a stutter, who cares? If I, have a hiccup in the middle, who cares? It doesn't matter. Normally, that video is not going to see the light of day. Honestly, at 3 minutes, I could just post that to TikTok right now and get ideas from the talk cramp, and then Paul has some cool ideas on how to get those comments and use those to help you make the situation. Okay, so what I'm going to do real quick is open this video with QuickTime, right? And then in QuickTime, I'm not going to show you how I specifically, because you can do this yourself. In the file menu, go to export as audio only. That's it. Simple as that. And then, so now that file is on the desktop. So we're going to go back to Capsho. Luis, if you will, bingo, bango. Screen share. Okay. Luis, if you will, screen share. We're waiting for my producer. There we go. All right. So I'm going to hit upload a file. And I'm just going to drag that audio file that I just created called Doc Ideas over here. And we're going to name this. Bam. And then I'm going to hit enter. So it's going to take 4 minutes. This is my own content. Yes. Bingo. Do I want to use a persona? I want to use the YouTube Doc Rock. There's no guess on this. And then I don't need to exclude anything. So I can just press save. And so it's going to process that file. Boom. And let me check. I saw some questions in there. The Ecamm Capsho discount, I believe, is still available. Is Plaud an alternative to Audio Pen? Absolutely. It's PLAUD. I mean, it's just a hardware. It's a hardware alternative to that. I really just bought it because I thought it was trash. And it was on sale for, what do you call that August Amazon thing? Prime Day. And I was like, what's $112 to see if this is any good? So I bought it. It is pretty good. I like Audio Pen better still. But the thing that's cool about Plaud is you can just stick it to the back of your phone with the magnet back here, and it can pick up the conversation, and then boom. Louis said preview mode strikes again. That's why I don't use preview mode, man. Like, I know everybody does it because everybody's afraid to make mistakes. I think it causes more mistakes. But that's just me. I'm not afraid to make mistakes in public. It's not that big a deal. No one's going to come and beat me up because I screwed something up. Okay, so the upload is complete. You can get started generating content. That's what it says in small letters that you probably can't see. So I'm going to just hit get started. And it says the benefits of note-taking versus digital notes, the importance of quality paper note-taking. That's funny because that would be a good one, but that's not what we're talking about. Transitioning from analog to digital note-taking. I'm going to use that because it has the highest SEO, even though I would probably adjust that. Or you can just boom, boom, boom. You can do a custom, but I'm going to leave that there because I can always adjust. And then analog note-taking allows for faster ideas when self-ideating. Boom. Handwriting note, use high-quality note. analog note taking is a faster way to capture ideas instantly. This is also good. A hybrid approach to combining, and I'll use the top one. I think it's the best premise. So, what is the call to action for this? Like, pen and paper still rule for, let's do content creation. For content creation, check out why analog is frequently boom. All right, let's go. Then what's the context for this episode? Will teach you the importance of, okay, so I can do that. Getting ideas out on paper is often faster than using all of our fancy digital tools. Okay, boom. That's my context. Hit apply. Bingo! And then now it's doing this thing. And if I go in there, it's going to say, if I click this, it's going to say that it's generating. It normally does a decent job of generating pretty quickly. Thank you, Tati. Let's go. Okay, so the title and description for the podcast is added. That's how quick this works. Let's go ahead and take a look. And boom, rediscovering analog, the unexpected path to digital proficiency. Bingo. I would adjust that. This is not how I talk. I probably need to fine tune my doc persona because my creators unstuck persona is fine tuned really, really well. But you could always just recreate your persona. In the world dominated by digital tools, note-taking apps, I've recently rediscovered the power of analog methods. Here's some magical. There's something magical about putting pen to paper that sparks creativity and allows idea to flow freely. This shift back to basics has revolutionized my approach to ideation and content creation. In this episode, we'll explore the unexpected benefits of analog note-taking, plus how it can enhance your digital workflow. I'll share my personal journey, transitioning from purely digital methods to a hybrid approach that combines the best of both worlds. Bingo! Bingo, bango, pickle, mango. Let's go, fam. Why analog note-taking still matters in the digital age. Discover how handwritten can boost creativity and reduce self-editing. Bingo. Improve idea generation and brainstorming. Bingo. Enhance memory retention and learning. Yes, I don't think if I said that, but that's true. Bridge the gap from analog to digital. Learn how to seamlessly integrate your handwritten notes into your digital ecosystem using OCR technology to digitize your notes, leveraging smartphone features for searchable handwritten content, organizing and accessing your ideas across platforms. Also fat. These are just delicious. Boom. The art of analog tools and techniques, right? Choosing the right notebook and paper. Yes. Selecting pens that make writing fun. Correct. Create a comfortable and inspiring work environment. Dope. I can pick up my notebook, take my ass to the beach, sit down in the sand and write. Kind of hard to do that in bright sunlight. You don't want sand in your MacBook. Sorry, people. Humble brag about the beach being across the street. There are 5 key takeaways you can expect from this episode. Understanding why. See, this is where this is good, because if you haven't written your outline yet, it's giving you the outline. Understanding why analog note-taking is faster for ideation execution. Learn techniques from integrating handwritten notes to your digital workflow. Discover the importance of quality tools in enhancing your writing experience. Explore strategies of organizing and searching handwritten content digitally. Gain insights on balancing analog and digital methods for optimal productivity. Join me as we rediscover blah, 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 blah. Look at that. Absolutely gangster. So that is what Katie meant by just taking your idea, spitting it out onto a video, and having this guy go ahead and generate it for you. And the YouTube description is going to be very much similar to what we talked about. But yeah, that's how easy that is. So honestly, that recording was 2 minutes and 58 seconds. And in 2 minutes and 58 seconds, I'm able to spit out what I want to say in no kind. You guys know my brain. It don't work in no kind of cohesive format, like looking like somebody dropped their ham and manchego on the sidewalk. And it still is able to pull out a piece of quality content that I can take this, modify it a little bit, put in links for the pen and paper set that I'm using, which you can't get because it's from Japan. Actually, no, you can buy it. It's just jetpens.com. But, put in that information and literally I could craft an entire episode just directly off this. So if this pops up on my YouTube channel, ain't my fault, homie. Because this is too good to leave it stuck in here. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just that good. So hopefully that helped you get a better idea of what we're talking about. And I know someone's going to ask, because Capsho isn't necessarily the cheapest way to do this. Cool. You could do this with ChatGPT. It's a lot harder. And if somebody wants to know how to do that, maybe I'll teach you, or I'll try to teach you. It ain't going to be this good. It's just not. So, if you got to do it, you got to pay the cost to be the boss. So if you want to know how to do the cheap way, I can show you. Just understand you're going to do a lot more work, but it can be done. This is why, to me, Capsho is worth every inch of its weight in gold, because it definitely saves you lots and lots of time. But if you can't afford it, then you just got to spend more time. So I just want to throw it out there because people be complaining to me. It costs you. What? I'm sorry. That's the world we live in, homie. That is the world we live in. If you can afford liposuction, it's cheaper than running. Not good for you, but it's cheaper than running. There's that. Oh, boom. See, it's nothing like that, Johnny. That is correct. All right, gang. I have to go prep for a record Creators Unstuck in an hour. So I hope you guys got something out of this. We really wanted to show you, because I swear to you, I think the two greatest things to happen in AI this year are a combination of Capsho and Cast Magic. And although they're similar, they're different enough. I think those two things in your arsenal are phenomenal. We are going to be doing an update to Scenery coming up soon. I think we picked the 17th. Scenery has added AI clips, and it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And of course, Ecamm is always working on ways to make your production quicker. So we got a couple updates coming up soon. And yeah, I can't wait. Yo, listen, this next month to 2 months is going to be extremely damaging to your wallet. It is time for Tech-timber and Techtober. And if you know anything about tech, October and September, yo, it's going to be crazy, right? We got an iPhone being announced on the 9th. You'll probably be able to order them on my birthday, and then you'll be able to get it like on the 20th. We're going to have a brand new operating system coming out directly after that. New operating system normally means new Macs, so you can look forward to that. I have a couple Secret Squirrel products on my desk that are going to just drop jaws when I'm able to tell you what they are. So yeah, you might want to just go ahead and pick up some side work, drive some Ubers, and deliver some groceries this month, because October and September, a lot of good, cool stuff coming out. Sony's probably dropping a new camera. Apple's dropping new Mac Studios, probably. Yeah. So before you start complaining about it now, start driving Uber. That's it. Flow Riders out.